Imagine walking into a busy cafe and noticing that every table is decorated with seductive posters. At first glance, they advertise drinks and desserts, but look closely, the images exploit sexuality, promising forbidden pleasure from the simplest sip of coffee. You catch yourself realizing you didn't even read the name of the drink, yet you already feel tempted to try it. That's how advertising cleverly taps into our deep biological craving, luring us to believe that this product can bring us closer to coveted bliss. And although you only came here for tea, in seconds you're under the influence of a well-honed mechanism of manipulation. At first, these details seem invisible, but our brains react to sexual imagery as reflexively as they do to delicious food. Deep down, there is a basic biological purpose: to survive and pass on our genes. Desire, lust, and flirting have been part of our human nature from time immemorial. However, in the modern age, where everything is accelerated and the internet reigns, these instincts can be turned into merchandise, and our behavior can become someone else's source of profit. Think of the effect if someone decided to create a video centered on sex and attractiveness. Skillful marketers would seize our attention within seconds, ultimately selling us literally anything, from a basic smartphone to the latest car. The massive power behind such an approach lies in one of our most essential impulses, the search for pleasure, paired with the fear of missing a chance to procreate. Yet the topic of sex is far more layered than just marketing campaigns. Overindulgence, constant bombardment with explicit stimuli risks pulling us into a real dependency on fleeting excitement, from addictive images to porn viewed as a quick fix. Such overexposure slowly damages our natural joy mechanisms, undermines our ability to enjoy real life, and hampers forming deep, meaningful relationships. In this video, I'll piece together everything you need to know about how sex affects our brains, about porn addiction, about how our fetishes and fantasies reveal our innermost traits, and about the subtle yet devastating effect that seemingly harmless habits can have on our self-confidence. I'll also explain how we're baited with hollow promises of fast relief, why it's crucial to learn self-control, and how to restore a healthy perspective on our sexuality. Stay with me until the end, as I'll openly discuss sensitive issues that people rarely address so directly. But it's precisely this level of honesty that sheds light on what happens inside our heads when we see seductive images and on the hidden roots of our sexual proclivities. Your curiosity is the key to understanding truths that are often closer than they appear. Along the way, we'll explore how not to be puppets in the hands of manipulative forces exploiting our desire. Times are changing, and people are becoming better informed, but the unrelenting quest for intense stimulation still dominates much of our behavior. Recognizing these mechanisms is your best defense against falling into a cycle of dependency, allowing you to take charge of your own life. Now, let's examine how it all actually works, dive into the secrets of hormones and fetishes, uncover the dangers of extremes in sexual practices, and learn practical steps to regain clarity of mind. We begin with the basics: why sex is one of our greatest vulnerabilities and how it became a tool of manipulation. Sex is not just a pleasant pastime but one of the brain's prime biological directives. Our bodies need to breathe, eat, and also continue the species. Everything tied to that imperative runs very deep. A complex hormonal system comes into play. Dopamine triggers our pursuit of pleasure and motivation, oxytocin fosters bonding and affection, serotonin and endorphins bring calm, and estrogen signals the stop button after orgasm. In today's world, people have figured out how to turn this need into big business. Marketers capitalize on it in campaigns, advertisers attach sexual hints to nearly any product, and we instinctively respond to suggestive images. Recall how one car commercial from a few years ago featured a woman overly flirting with a driver. Even if it was meant humorously, it drew massive attention, linking the car's image with sexual allure. During World War II, a similar tactic was used. Pin-up posters encouraged new recruits and helped sell war bonds. Men wanted to be worthy of these beautiful depictions, and disagreeing with the call to serve could be seen as cowardice. It's been proven through history that sexual cues can be a remarkably effective trigger. So why are we so vulnerable? It's the hormonal cocktail. Dopamine urges us to explore, to seek arousal. Without awareness, we're likely to fall prey to propaganda, subliminal marketing, endless social media feeds, and dating apps. Oxytocin, which drives feelings of trust and love, can create a warm, fuzzy impression when you see happy couples in an advertisement, prompting you to believe that buying some product might give you that same magical closeness. All of this leads to an insatiable quest for novelty. If your brain becomes accustomed to certain stimulants, the excitement fades, and you search for even stronger jolts. This is where the cycle of endless provocative images, explicit videos, and craving more intense kicks begins. Fetishes also emerge, those unique symbols or acts that ignite our arousal in a matter of seconds. In essence, a fetish is an outcome of our brain's associative process. If we once experienced a powerful sexual reaction, it memorizes which triggers were involved. Over time, the brain wires this connection so that a specific smell, object, or action alone can spark an electric wave of desire. There's nothing supernatural about it. Sometimes fetishes get more exotic or alarming because our brains continually demand novelty. Yesterday's extremes become boring today, spurring us to explore more unusual territory. This isn't always a sign of something inherently wrong. Psychology and personal experience matter. In some cases, a fetish helps reframe trauma or harness feelings like pain, which release endorphins and create a mix of discomfort and pleasure. Beneath it all, we frequently find emotional shortcomings. Some individuals turn to sex as compensation. If someone yearns for attention, struggles with isolation, or has never known real love, they may settle for merely physical connections. Without secure attachment or the love we might have needed as children, the brain looks for easy gratification, random partners, shallow affairs, or constant affirmations of worth. That's where sex addiction becomes a genuine risk. The World Health Organization officially lists compulsive sexual behavior as a disorder. Constantly seeking erotic encounters and consuming hours of porn can disrupt one's job, studies, relationships, essentially, life itself. Harm may also take subtler forms. Many people live in cultures normalizing casual, commitment-free intimacy. While this looks liberated on the surface, an undercurrent of emptiness can surface. A sexual encounter triggers a surge of dopamine, then abruptly disappears, leaving behind loneliness and a feeling of letdown. True tranquility is tough to find when there's no emotional depth to the interaction. Research has highlighted that those who pursue one-night stands more often face depression, have lower self-esteem, and experience heightened anxiety. If this cycle repeats over and over, establishing genuine long-term relationships can feel out of reach, even if one secretly desires them. For plenty of individuals, masturbation combined with porn is a convenient release. Adult websites draw enormous audiences, especially men. Occasional self-pleasure in itself isn't harmful, but when it morphs into a habit, the brain quickly adapts to these vivid visuals, making everyday reality appear bland and unsatisfying. Porn delivers an instant dopamine hit. The stronger the stimulation, the more intense the rush, but over time, the effect dulls. Achieving the same thrill demands finding something more explicit. Meanwhile, overall satisfaction actually decreases because addicts feel a perpetual yearning without the fulfilling payoff. This pattern impacts real-world intimacy. Porn-induced erectile dysfunction becomes common when someone struggles to match the intensity provided by on-screen fantasies. Interacting with a real partner can be stressful, as actual intimacy rarely aligns with the perfect illusions shown in videos. It's a slippery slope to rationalize. If I crave it every day, it must be my nature. Often, it's not a natural drive but a dependence fed by constant exposure. Remove pornography and suddenly you realize your real libido isn't as excessive as you thought. The craving doesn't vanish, it simply recalibrates to a healthier scale. Ultimately, addiction, be it fast food, social media, or cigarettes, relies on the same principle. The brain develops a stimulus equals reward loop, while our genuine satisfaction diminishes, but our compulsion to seek more intensifies. In a world that never stops flaunting sexual content, these triggers become even harder to evade. Some joke that men have two brains and that the lower one often prevails. Yet there's a sad truth there: by not managing lust, we become a perfect target for manipulation. Countless content creators earn substantial money from men willing to pay just to see provocative photos or videos and get a brief surge of excitement. Quitting porn is a kind of reset. It retrains us to find pleasure in genuine life, rather than in orchestrated virtual scenes. Of course, it's challenging at first. The brain rebels. Yesterday it only took a click to dive into fantasy, and now there's no more fast fix. But if you endure the initial withdrawal, the world soon regains its vibrancy. simple activities like walks, conversations, and creativity start offering real joy again. Dopamine, once fixated on artificially intense stimuli, finds new outlets in tangible goals and meaningful connections with others. A strategic plan can be crucial. Replace porn watching with active pursuits requiring involvement, working out, learning a skill, focusing on a personal project, or trying a new hobby where you see tangible progress. Should you be looking for career change or growth, consider areas like cybersecurity, a booming field in an age of rampant digital threats. Platforms like Skillbox provide structured courses covering topics from Python programming to network defense, and can even guarantee employment or offer your money back if you don't land a job after training. Finance is another path to channel your energy away from endless sexual distractions. I've created a finance course teaching the basics of economics, how to save money, and invest wisely for long-term growth even in turbulent times. The focus is on building a mindset of delayed gratification, where you prioritize lasting goals over fleeting pleasure. If you need support, seek communities where members collectively strive to replace harmful habits with beneficial ones. I, for instance, founded a club for people keen to break free from destructive cycles and establish healthy routines. Each month we test out a new habit, with guidance and daily check-ins, forming a strong network of like-minded individuals. More importantly, identify deeper causes of your behavior. Sometimes addiction to porn or the constant search for casual partners is merely a symptom, an outward sign of deeper wounds, such as low self-esteem, loneliness, unmet emotional needs, or childhood traumas. Consulting a therapist, doing honest self-reflection, and setting meaningful personal goals can lead to genuine breakthroughs. Voluntary abstinence itself isn't harmful if it's your conscious choice and doesn't strain you psychologically. In fact, short-term abstinence helps restore natural sensitivity. The body knows how to balance sexual energy. Men may experience nocturnal emissions, or not every organism is unique. The biggest mistake is mistaking artificially fueled urges for authentic ones, which are instead amplified by daily exposure to provocative materials. Don't fear reclaiming a normal outlook on life. You don't have to become ascetic or abandon real intimacy. In fact, genuinely shared intimacy with a devoted partner is far more rewarding than any fantasy. Emotional trust, shared ambitions, and mutual understanding bring deeper satisfaction than a fleeting thrill from digital illusions. Society will continue profiting from sex themes. Provocative shows, revealing ads, effortless access to endless spicy sites, they're here to stay. What you can control is your personal reaction. You can opt for creation, personal development, and sincere bonds. The easy road is tempting, but often leads nowhere. To wrap up, consider whether a momentary release is worth sacrificing your self-assurance, willpower, and the possibility of deep, meaningful relationships. Knowledge of your physiology, your psychology, and your vulnerabilities can set you free. The brain is flexible and can heal itself. Let this information motivate you to choose responsibly, rather than letting impulses rule. If you've watched to the end and found value or inspiration here, please support this channel, give it a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Maybe your friends need to understand this topic, and you can help them begin a positive transformation. For instance, if we hit just 10 likes, I'll post my next video on the habits that help beat laziness and move you toward real success. Your engagement is vital for the channel's growth and encourages me to keep bringing you thorough and honest content. Thank you for staying with me all this time. Believe in yourself, control your desires, and choose love over illusions.